Well, good afternoon and welcome everyone. Today's review has now brought us here for an extremely special and rather exclusive up-close and personal encounter with the all-new and highly unique 2014 Audi Allroad 2.0 Turbo Premium Plus. Now, our review today has been provided with much generosity from DFW Audi, formerly known as Belargin Audi, still located here in the heart of Euless, Texas. And now, with all of that being said, this is going to be a complete and in-depth review of the all-new Allroad, and this does entail a complete startup and overview of the engine, as well as a good look at many of the unique and notable styling cues and multiple features, technologies, and creature comforts that now make up this new incarnation of one of Audi's most unique vehicles to date. And so, bearing all that new information in mind, let's go ahead and climb aboard and we'll check it out. To begin with, our particular example today wears the brilliant black exterior, Now with this Premium Plus model, you do get Audi's advanced keyless entry system, which simply provides complete remote-free access into the vehicle, along with a bimodal starting system, which you'll see here in a minute. Getting into the vehicle is as simple as having the key fob anywhere on your person, such as I have it here in my pocket. And as you noticed just a moment ago, we just unlocked the vehicle. And both the locking and unlocking is done through various touch-sensitive areas on four corners of the door handle. You can either use the small square portion here to lock the vehicle, just touch it, give it just a second, and to unlock the vehicle, simply grab the door handle, and that automatically unlocks it. Now this particular model's interior has been fully appointed in the sumptuous chestnut brown leather, which adds a beautiful accent to that brilliant black exterior. Now I did mention that with the advanced keyless entry system, this particular vehicle does come with what I would consider a bi-mode starting system, meaning you can actually use the advanced keyless entry system to start the vehicle one of two ways. In times of the past, we've normally used this large silver engine start button located here just below your electronic parking brake, but today we'll be using the secondary mode. You simply take your key fob, as you can see here, and if you'll notice it's got these little ridges in the upper portion of the key. Just to the right of your steering wheel, there is a considerable sized little slot with a small opening. Take your key fob, insert it in until you feel it click. With that, you hear the steering wheel come unlocked. Then simply put your foot on the brake and push the key all the way in to start the vehicle. It's as simple as that. Now, of course, the easier method, is to use the engine start button, but, of course, you have the other mode as we saw earlier. Go ahead and shut that up so we can continue on. Now, the steering in the Allroad is actually surprisingly very fluid. Despite this car having the torque split quattro all-wheel drive system, which you'll hear about in just a minute, it's actually not so spring-loaded as you might think. Very little feedback, but don't let that put you off, because I have actually driven this car, and it still does provide an excellent amount of response when it comes to pushing the car through the corners. This is the multi-function 4-spoke steering wheel design with the multiple different buttons here, but in our case we actually do not have the Audi multimedia interface in this particular model, although it is an available option, and if you were to go with the MMI system, you would have a little bit more of a wider range of controls here on the steering wheel. Now, combined in in a lot of Audi's cars, this particular vehicle has the electronically controlled 8-speed Tiptronic automatic transmission. Pull the shifter down even more, you can engage the sport mode. as noted by the S on your little LCD display. And you can also click it over into the manual mode and pull down to shift down, push forward to shift up. Now, even though we do have the Audi infotainment system screen here, it actually surprisingly does not have a backup camera when you put it in reverse, as you can see. Now, the vehicle does have electronic child protective safety locks, and although you don't see a little nub that comes up and down to tell you when the vehicle is locked or unlocked, the doors will automatically lock themselves and seal themselves shut when the car is put into gear and all 4 doors are closed. Now, just to the left of that, you can also see that we do have the electronic parking brake. To set and release, just keep your foot on the brake, push forward to set, or push forward to release, and pull up to set. It's as simple as that. All 4 windows on this vehicle are automatic in both directions. It is a little annoying with that chime in there. Now, underneath the hood of the new Allroad is a power plant that many Audi fanatics are quite familiar with. For this all-wheel drive Avant style wagon, Audi has used their 2-liter dual overhead cam 16-valve turbo fuel sequential injected turbocharged and intercooled inline 4-cylinder engine. Now, while that still is a bit of a mouthful like all the other engines, it still produces the exact same output as cars like the A4, the A5, and even the 2-liter turbocharged A6, and so on. It still produces a healthy 211 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. On premium unleaded gasoline, expect to see a range of 20 miles per gallon city and 27 miles per gallon on the interstate highway. Still an absolutely brilliant power plant and absolutely unnoticeable when driving this vehicle. And upon startup of the vehicle, the new standard LED accents on just about every single one of their cars' headlights is already illuminated, as you can see. These LED accents will actually dim down just a bit when the high intensity projector headlights are switched on. Then let's see about a few revs of that inline 4-cylinder turbo and see what kind of soundtrack she produces. There's a 4,000 RPM rev limiter when stationary or in neutral. It does take a good bit of pressure on the gas pedal to actually get some gas introduced into the engine, but once it does, it really has a nice little burble to it. Absolutely wonderful. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and turn on the headlights. Again, you do have the option of them being automatic, as well as turn on the fog lights and the parking lights as usual, alongside the hazards as we normally do. And now let's take this opportunity to explore the all-new exterior of the Allroad. Now, to many an Audi fanatic out there, you may actually recognize this vehicle already. The Allroad is actually not all new for the 2013 and 14 model year. It was actually introduced back in the early 2000s, featuring a series of engines and most notably the twin-turbocharged V6 engine. It was put out of production around 2004, and Audi recently brought back the car as sort of an A4 Avant-style vehicle that rides a little bit higher like an SUV, but still provides the quiet, comfortable capabilities of an Audi wagon. As I mentioned earlier, you've got the standard LED accented bi-xenon high-intensity discharge projector beam headlights. Got your lower fog lights. Standard Audi washboard style grille. And also a standard thing on the new Allroad is the two-tone color scheme. The brilliant black is the standard painted color, but you have a matte finished dark gray depending on which Allroad you choose, but it really doesn't depend on which color you choose. It will still remain the two-tone color scheme. On this particular Premium Plus, we have these 18-inch polished silver aluminum alloy wheels, painted silver aluminum alloy wheels, riding on Pirelli all-season tires with a tire size measuring 245 45R 18. Rain-sensing windshield wipers. You've got these power-heated and folding LED turn signal-equipped exterior mirrors. Our particular example today also has the full Vista panoramic sunroof, along with these beautiful polished silver aluminum roof rails. Now moving towards the back of the Allroad, you can actually see a resemblance to that of the Audi A4 Avant. The body style is actually very similar in design, but as I said, it rides higher, more like an SUV versus the more car-like Audi A4 Avant. You can see the standard LED taillights and turn signals. Now, many a person has asked me, what is the Quattro all-wheel drive system? Well, of course, for the obvious reasons, the car is four-wheel drive. But the way it works is actually very sweet. It's a 40-60 or 60-40 torque split all-wheel drive system, meaning that at some point in time, 60% of the power will go to the back wheels of the car, while 40% of the power will go to the front wheels of the car. This is more conventional of a system on a lot of luxury 4x4 vehicles than cars such as the Japanese Subaru Forester or other symmetrical all-wheel drive vehicles, which have a more 50-50 torque split all-wheel drive system, meaning that you get exact same amounts of torque and power to all four wheels at the same time. This is definitely one rare and unique treat for Audi. There are only three of these here at DFW Audi, 2 black and 1 gray. And so far, this is about the only one that I personally have ever gotten close up with. But now that we've had a good walk around of the exterior of the Allroad, let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. You'll just have to bear with that chime just a little bit. Go ahead and turn the lights off. But as I said, our particular model today wears the chestnut brown leather interior with the fine grain wood accents here on the doors and dash. Polished aluminum door sills. Multi-function power assisted driver's seat. You've got your back recline here, forward and backward motion, and your multi-way lumbar support activated by the small 4-way dial here in the front. Now, as you would expect of a luxury vehicle of this caliber, you do get plenty of powered amenities, including power door locks, polished aluminum door handles. Two-person memory seating with the availability to turn it off for the driver's seat. As I said, the power folding and heated exterior mirrors. All 4 automatic windows, automatic in both directions. And of course, just down here, you have the release for your power-assisted liftgate, which you'll see here in a moment. Also, right here, you have your electronic window locks. Now, stepping into the interior of the Allroad, it really feels like a lot of Audi's other cars. The gauges seem very, very familiar, and many of you may have seen these in just about every other one of Audi's cars. The simple silver ring around the gauges with the bright red needle, and these sort of race car-like numbers and numerics gracing across the whole of the gauge cluster. And of course, that all too important LCD multifunction display between your speedometer and tachometer. As you saw over here, you have all of your lighting controls, including the automatic lights and parking and fog lights, your instrument dimming. You have your indicator stalk here. You also have your multi-function cruise control stalk down here. Simply pull it down to resume, pull it back to resume, push it forward for off, pull it back just a little to engage it, and then you can adjust your speed here on the side. Now, without the technically advanced multimedia interface as provided by Audi and a lot of other cars, this one seems a little bit more basic. And while you're probably asking why we didn't choose a car with the MMI system, is very simple. Sometimes not everybody wants all the bells and whistles with some of their vehicles, especially people nowadays with as picky as they are being when they look for luxury cars. So it's more a question today of what the customer can do without. All the same, you still do have all of the necessary amenities. You have your different media interfaces, including satellite radio, your simple click wheel to activate all the different menus, you have your hands-free Bluetooth, your car, and your setup, and of course down below, which is quite necessary for today as it is quite hot and humid outside, we have the automated dual-zone climate controls. I'll go ahead and pull this back just a second so you can see it. You do have your adjustable fan speed, you just turn it on. Click your fan speed. Could use some of that nice cold air right about now. I'm sweating my brains out behind the camera here. You have your tri-stage heated seats here on either side. You can change actually between the different menus, and the LCD screen will actually show up here. As you saw earlier, now you can see the temperature as noted by the dual knobs here, but if you press the fan button, you can actually adjust your fan speed at the same time. This allows for minimal use of LCD displays and a little bit ease of access when it comes to your air conditioning system instead of a million different knobs down here in which you need to use basically a manual provided by NASA to find. Now, of course, again, like I said, heated seats on both sides. You have your automatic button here, front and rear defrost, air conditioning recycling, your different climate zones. And you can also adjust them up here via the Audi infotainment screen. And basically all of your other air conditioning accessories. Now, as you see, this has the Audi Concert Premium All Stereo.
Really what matters here, Trace, is the outcome, and that's why the Aura.
Absolutely wonderful stereo system in here. Absolutely wonderful. Up top you can see your LCD compass with your directional, and also you can turn that off. Pretty simple. Up here you have your map light and reading, and also your HomeLink garage door system, as you can see by these 3 buttons here. Your different map lights and reading. And most importantly, you have your sunroof controls. Now this is a little bit difficult. You can actually, I think this is the screen. If you push the button, it goes all the way back. And then if you want to open the sunroof, you turn the dial. A little more complicated than others, but still very nice. And just push the button forward to retract the shade. Nice. All around, this is definitely a brilliant addition to Audi's family. Certainly bringing back a name that so many Audi enthusiasts remember, even though Audi didn't exactly make a huge big deal about it when the Allroad was first released back in the mid-2000s, but all the same, definitely a lot of people, I can tell you, are glad they brought it back. But now, viewers, with all that being said, let's go and turn off the engine. And to turn it off, it's just a reverse of what we did earlier. Just push the key in, and it just shuts right down. Take your key fob out, and you can hear the steering wheel lock in place. And with all that being done, let's go ahead and check out the rest of the Allroad. Very spacious room for 5 people. Now, the little bit of a disadvantage I can see about taller people here in the back of the Allroad is legroom. It is quite convenient that they put these small indentions here in the back of the seat, but I'm about 6'1", and although the floor wells are very deep, which again a lot of people I can tell you are thankful for, it still just is a little bit confined for somebody over, say, about 6 feet tall. But don't let that throw you off, because it is still very comfortable and a very nice place to sit back here. Got your center armrest here. This all comes up with a nice little storage pocket. And your cup holders right here in the front. Just push, and out they slide. Easy. Now, I did also mention earlier that the new Allroad with the advanced keyless entry system does come with a power-assisted liftgate. You can either open it manually via the back or use the remote. And you reveal a pretty decently sized trunk. Definitely room enough for quite a few suitcases, and definitely high enough you can stack all of your necessary groceries. Got a nice little cover. And of course your standard Audi floor mats as supplied by the dealership. Should be your spare tire and kit underneath. Yes. Very nice. One of the really cool things about that power-assisted trunk is the fact it does not have one of those annoying chimes that tells you when it's going up or down. Now, just as you would expect from an Audi, the car does have its fair share of airbags. You have side curtain and driver and passenger frontal impact, and also seat-mounted side curtain airbags as well. I love the way Audis are just put together. Just this nice soft thunk. Just no clunk, no clank, just a nice soft little thunk, letting you know it sounds like a solidly built car. As the Germans, of course, are noted for. As you can see, the front passenger seat is also power adjustable, but it is missing the lumbar support like the driver's seat. Now, sitting here in the passenger side, there is definitely a lot of room to stretch out. Again, I mentioned my height. I'm about 6'1", and I can stretch my legs all the way to the end and still be in plentiful amounts of comfort. No real disadvantage here as far as space goes. And still, when you open the glove box, it falls very softly. It is lined with felt, so it does have a little bit more of a solid feel to it. You do have your CD changer in here, if you were to have one. And you have a pretty decent sized amount of space to store all of your reading materials. And of course, if you wish to lock your glove box, you can simply release the valet key, which is this silver portion at the bottom of your key fob, and actually use it to lock the glove box in place. All around, an absolutely beautifully built car, and definitely an exciting addition to Audi's family. So viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this rather lengthy review of the all-new 2014 Audi Allroad 2.0 Turbo Premium Plus. If you wish to contact DFW Audi about this particular vehicle, or any of the others you may have seen in the background of this review, please feel free to do so at dfwaudi.com, or come visit them off of 183 and Airport Freeway in Euless, Texas. Until then, guys, have a great day, and I will see you guys later.
We are here in the Area 51 because this car is so important that we wanted to mark the beginning really of a new icon of a new era. Dusk and dawn means that we are trying to fill the gap between the opposites, and this is what this car is all about. And my colleagues will talk in more detail about this in some minutes. Let me give you the opportunity to speak a bit about the year 2013 in terms of automotive industry and in terms of the luxury sports car business. If we start with the total car market, for the first time in 2013, there were sold and delivered more than 70 million cars worldwide. In the US, it's, or North America, it's 15 million. In Europe, it's another 15 million, and in China, it's another 15 million. So all these three markets they already make out 45 million. They were all up, the markets, except of Europe. And until the end of the crisis, or the beginning of the recovery in 2010, the market has a constant growth on a worldwide basis. So this is a good sign, even though with the currencies in the year 2014, it's not easy for all the manufacturers. If we look into what the exclusive supersports market is, then it's a complete different picture. We are not talking about millions, we're talking about thousands of cars. So even here, after the dip of the year 20 or 2009, there was a recovery, but never back on the levels of the year 2007 or 2008. And also here, let's say the pity is that the core market, our most important market, where we are coming from, the European market, is not recovering yet. If we then look into what Lamborghini is doing since the year 2010, we have a constant growth in terms of volume, even though I have to say for us volume is not the key issue, because we are always selling less than demand, and it's about exclusivity and all the things we always talk about. It's clear that by investing a lot in the future, there is a need also to sell cars and not just to show the cars. What is good for Lamborghini is that we have a very balanced distribution in the major regions of this world. So we're selling almost one-third, and one-third worldwide, and this is helping us a bit to be independent from local crises. As I said, we are investing a lot. First of all, in our factory premises. We started heavily in the year 2010 with the building of the factory for the monocoque, of the carbon monocoque of the Aventador. In 2012, we built up a complete new pre-series center, and the photo you see here is the photo of our new logistics center. So all in all, we're really heavily investing, and the picture is changing constantly. I don't know when it was the last time you went to Sant'Agata, but every year you come, there is a change. And what is the most important thing, we are investing more than 20% of our turnover on a yearly base in research and development. These cars, they deserve it. These cars they need to have always the latest technology, so it's clear that investments are on a very high level. If this is then compared to the turnover, which is constantly growing, this means also that the 20% is constantly rising. Last year, in 2013, we had an absolute record high in terms of revenues with more than 500 million euros for the first time. And this is something which is always affecting, for sure, the structure of Lamborghini. So in the last 3 years, we hired more than 300 people, 100 just in the year 2013. And we are also winning a lot of awards which are certifying from outside that we are a very attractive employer. And this is paramount also for the quality of the people which are coming to see Lamborghini, or they are trying to get into our factory. And the other side of the picture is that we also look very carefully into the environment and the quality of life around us. So we want to be in 2015 in terms of Sant'Agata Bolognese, so our headquarters, CO2 neutral, which is an important step also for the ethic behavior of all of us. And as you can see here in Italy, we were nominated or we won a prize about being the ethical company in Italy. Outside of Sant'Agata, we have national sales companies. We have them in North America, so in Washington. We have one in Toronto, but also in Asia. In Beijing, we have the headquarters of our region for the Asia-Pacific region. We are in Tokyo. We are in India, in New Delhi. No, New Delhi. I think we are in New Delhi. I can't remember now. But there's no Indian here, so I'm not making a gaffe. No, it's in Mumbai. Now I remember, it's in Mumbai. So all in all, we have 6 national sales companies, and the biggest dot is the green one, which is representing Sant'Agata Bolognese, and then we have 129 partners worldwide, which are spread out in 46 countries, where we have, or where we're covering almost all, let's say, the spots of wells which are existing around the world. Talking about the product, the Aventador, what is and was a tremendous success, and it's still going on, because in 3 years we sold as many cars, so 3,000, as we sold in 7 years with the predecessor, with the Murcielago, and we still have 1 year of order bank. And last year, it was the first year in the history of Lamborghini that we sold more than 1,000 V12 cars. So very important for us, for the solidity of the company and the image of our brand. And here is the Gallardo. In the year 2003, there was the launch of the car. It was at the beginning perceived as the baby Lamborghini, but this name disappeared almost immediately. It established a clear understanding that Lamborghini is going in 2 segments of the super sports car business. And then in 2008, when we had the launch of the facelift, we also had the record year in terms of sales. The last edition, or the Squadra Corsa edition, was very competitive in the second half of the year 2013, so just some months ago. We were winning a lot of lap time, so we were out beating all the competitors with a car which is 10 years old. Then Maurizio Reggiani will tell you about this one in some minutes. As I said, for us, the Gallardo was a game changer. The best year was in 2008 with 1,844 cars delivered. All in all, in the 50 years of the history of Lamborghini, we sold 30,000 cars, and only with the Gallardo 14,000. So you can imagine how important this car was for us, and how important this one is going to be in the next years for Automobile Lamborghini. So this is the car. When we started to talk about the fall of the Gallardo some 4 years ago, it was clear that it had to be a car with innovative technology and which should have been absolute in performance, so the best possible car in this segment. And also it has to be something which should have redefined the driving experience of a super sports car in the new era of Lamborghini. So easy on the road and performing on the racetrack. So like our motto, dusk and dawn. So you have to have a car which is getting all the attention of the driver on the racetrack, very performing, very fast, but then also very usable on a daily basis, so very easy to handle on the normal roads. And last but not least, the design should be clear, a classic Lamborghini. And when I gave the briefing to my people, to the engineers, to the designer, to the entire company, together with the board, and Maurizio Reggiani is here today with me, then it was about 2 words: instinctive technology. Instinctive technology is what I said before. It's something which has to fit immediately like a glove when you sit in the car, when you enter the car, and it has to give you not only the feeling, but the certainty that you're a better driver just by stepping into this car, much better than you expected ever to be. And you will experience this today on the racetrack and also on public roads. This is it from my side. These are the prices excluding taxes. Now we will see a short video, and then Mr. Reggiani will give you technical details about this instinctive technology and how we handled it. Grazie.